Oh my. This will give you some idea anyway. This is what we want to do in Africa, okay? I make these models. This has inertial wheels in it, so it won't move like a toy. It moves like a big machine, see? And this machine can change its shape, and it uses lasers and melts the earth underneath it into obsidian. So you don't need to mix concrete, and you move 15 miles an hour making a canal in Africa. Then you bring in salt water from the sea. Then you lower this gadget over the water, and the water evaporates and you get drinking water. So you can give them drinking water for irrigation. Then these things, big buildings, are manufactured in dry dock. You know, they're like to build ships. And this travels along the building, picking up the windows and everything. And then when the building is finished, we flood the dry dock with water and bring the building to the site, floated there. Then we use water jets under the building. And the water jets permit you to use 1 pound of force and to move 1 ton of weight. And we slip the whole building, finished that line. That's how we change the world in 10 years, if we use this kind of technology. This is for my motion pictures. We build all this stuff to get the effects we want. And we use this kind of thing for helicopters flying. We put an airplane on this and it travels across the scene. We have to make all this stuff. And that's what we do with money. If you come over here, I think I told you I was against the space program until the nations learn to live together in peace. We go off on a joint venture and explore space. But if you don't do that, you're going to have nuclear weapons out there. I think we may already have them. And I was against going to Mars. You know what terraforming is? There are engineers today that are terraforming, theoretically, other planets to make them habitable. That's wrong. While this one's falling apart, first save the Earth. Otherwise you'll have nothing, you know. And I wanted to put like 8 of these between the Earth and Mars with oxygen, spare parts, so if anything damaged your equipment, you didn't have to come all the way back to the Earth for many months. And I wouldn't send man into space until we had stuff like this above the moon, so we had additional oxygen and spare parts. So all of this stuff, this retracts into that and retracts so men don't have to screw things together in space. Compressed air blows them together like a bellows. And these are space stations. I don't want people in space. I want them on Earth where they mix chemicals together and control everything in here. You don't need people out there. You got to bring food and shower material and water, and that they can't survive. So they should be remotely controlled. What good is space? You can do chemical experiments you can't do on Earth. Gravity doesn't permit you to do it. So you can do. So all of those robots are for kids to see the type of machines of the future. This is like a double dome, you know, and this is a tri-dome, 3 domes. Basic structure of what's inside the steel is a framing where all the lines go down to the ground. So all the stress is always going down to the ground. You see, it's not just randomly laid out. And so then for the underdeveloped countries, we would make a prefab unit with a shower, sink, and toilet all in one. Nice. And the water comes out of a slot. So it comes out like a ribbon that'll cut the soap off your hand. A stream of water is wasted. 40% of the water is wasted. You know what I mean by like a ribbon? Mm-hmm. Okay, because there's a slot there. The wastewater goes into the sink, travels around, fills the water closet. You flush the john with it. Instead of telling people to save water, you build many different types of bathrooms, maybe 50, and let people pick what they want. Instead of a toilet bowl or sink in a separate unit. Do you follow me? Mm-hmm. Then all buildings will be equipped with ramps for people in wheelchairs. All blind people will have sonar so they can see a table in front of them or any object. They don't need the cane. It's like a bat. A bat generates a sound, gets feedback, and avoids things. See? So we have so many wonderful things we want to do. Now this is for kids. When I show them the airplanes of the future, say they look like this, 1,000 passenger, I have to show them where it came from. It doesn't start this way. Show them the development of aircraft all the way down to this type. Then this is conventional helicopter. They all look alike because they all go to the same school. The blades turn this way, the body tends to turn the opposite way, and this fan pulls it back. So when it flies, this fan keeps it, and it goes through a little oscillation like that. And this is where a helicopter's going. The engine will be out on the blade tip, very small, about half the size of this, and that propels the blades around, but the passenger section remains stationary. And the way that works is two pendulums move up and back very fast. That keeps the center from turning. You don't need a fan back there. Then after the helicopter will come something like this. The turbines will lift the plane up, then they shut, and it moves forward. So these are variations of where airplanes are going. This is other types of flying wings, the whole story of where they're going. And you see the rudder on this? This is when we outgrow the need for a rudder. To tell kids that there's no final frontiers, no best airplane. There's only the best you can do up to now with what we know. So it goes for government, it goes for all aspects of society.
He designed these 65 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
If you look at this now,
The automobiles and everything, the airplanes.
These are the automobiles of the future. And this is for kids. When kids come here, I got to get them interested. So I say, these cars can't hit one another.
Oh, my.
They're being repelled from each other.
They can't even touch one another. But the kids get interested. And that's my aim. My intention is to get them interested in solving problems. So I show them what automobiles and airplanes will eventually look like. And then I show them all these variations. Then I show them the city, and I told them that not everybody wants to live in an individual home. Some people like apartments because there's a drama group, swimming pool, gymnasium, all in one. These people have to go to the gym. So I think that in the future, people will live in gigantic complexes with everything. Schools, libraries in there, restaurants, everything. But you have to do this now, because this is where people are at. They can't make that transition that fast. So if this is public health, if you work here, you live here if you choose to. Here is like outdoor here. Beautiful gardens, lakes, waterfalls, and tennis courts, bicycle paths through the forest, golf course. But the golf course has a clubhouse. In there you pick the clubs you want, play, leave them there. What are you lugging all that crap around? You got a closet full of shit. You know what I mean? Really. So if you make things available, leave them there. There's more things for more people. So you open a closet center, you see all kinds of stuff. Now, when you check out a camera at the camera center, we ask you to, when you're through, drop it off at the camera center. There they keep them in key shape. I don't want you to have a closet full of stuff. So here's a drama group. They produce plays, theater, they shoot television, movies. Everybody in the public is free to access anything without going to a committee.
What's this?
In there is shopping center, dental care, medical care, child care, schools. So you don't have to build suburbia and then drive that way to the dentist, that way for shopping, take your kid to school, and the other drive. That's a lot of poison in the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. So there are no cars permitted in this city. There's traveling units that travel around the circle, take you anywhere in your dial where you want to go. Art center, music center. Cars will be phased out. But transitionally, I have to deal with the in-betweens, So this is only one type of city. There'll be many different types that serve many functions. See, they talk about decentralizing today because government doesn't know what's going on in California, so they want little governments in each area. But with now radar and with technology, computers, you can centralize again and see the whole country as a system. So we're going to go back to centralization. Wind farms, geothermal, heat concentrators, no toxic materials. There's no home for the poor, nothing like that. There's no poor anymore. And when a city hits a certain size, depending on where it's at, let's say this one about 40,000 people, we let everything go back to nature between this and the next city. But they're interconnected by monorail. Okay? These are for transporting fluids and chemicals, and yet animals have to migrate past, and that doesn't stop them from migrating. Right. So whenever we build a dam, we build a step system so the fish can get up to the spawning grounds. If you build a dam and you don't build this accommodating step system where the fish can jump up, you're hurting nature. So people get mad at the dam. It's not the dam. The dam is great. Let's just include natural life all around it. So that's what love means to me.
That's spirituality.
That's what spirituality is. The rest is words.
There's no wood to rot. There's no tent you have to put over the building to poison the bugs out of it. We just build buildings, and we want to go on and build other buildings and not have to worry. There's not much maintenance. They're very pleasant.
And there's an odd-looking helicopter going overhead. Do you get a lot of air traffic?
No, not usually.
No, maybe they know we're here.
We have 22 acres, a little over 22 acres. We dug streams and put up bridges. We dug ponds and put in hundreds of palm trees. They're not indigenous, the types of palms we put in. We put in flower trees, bushes, fruit trees, all kinds of fruit trees. And we have decks and bridges. It looks like a little paradise, banana trees.
It is a little paradise. And all the buildings are round. Even where there's a flat surface, it ends in a round curve.
Well, it's very strong. The dome uses the least amount of material to cover the most space. And there's no roof to blow off. There's no shingles to blow off. It's all one structure. So it's extremely strong. And we live in hurricane country.
Oh, there's a deer.
Oh, yes. We see deer outside our window. In fact, there's one deer that's so friendly to us that we can pass it right on the road about 5 feet apart.
Do you have alligators?
Alligators. We do have alligators. This is their land, so we dug out ponds so the alligators come and go.
What is that white texture on the outside of the buildings?
A lot of the buildings we spray with foam on the outside, too.
Oh, okay.
It helps if there's any leaking, and it helps insulate buildings. And then we use elastomeric paint on the outside, and we kind of make our own texture with sand mixed in with the paint.
Okay.
We experimented with many things here, so many of the buildings will look very unusual.
I had occasion to use the washroom during a break from our recording already today, and I see a little formed pencil holder right by the toilet, and you were saying that Jacque will often compose new imaginative drawings sitting on the toilet.
There's no downtime for Jacque. He's working all the time. Even when he goes to the bathroom, he'll come out and bring out 5 new designs, beautiful drawings, and then he'll make models of them, then he'll film them, and I'll edit them in a DVD about the future.
Just amazing. All right, we're going over to another building here.
Drawing room and studio, and you can see we make our railings out of aluminum. See, I do architectural drawings too, and I make architectural models on the outside for funding to help support the project in any way that I can. Then we sell the books and videos, which help support the project.